Hi, friends. Welcome back for another lesson. This is week 11, day 5. For today's lesson, you will need your sun poem, your pencil, your thinking cap, and your listening ears. If you don't have your materials ready, just press pause, then press play when you're ready to learn. Friends, we have been working on poetry. We have read many high-quality poems, and we're currently working on revising our own poem to make it high quality. So I thought we should start by reading a high-quality poem together. This poem is titled, Where Are They? The Sun, Moon, and Stars poem. Now, we have read this poem before, so hopefully it sounds familiar. I am going to read it fluently for you. I'd like for you to try to follow along with me. I'll keep my mouse beside the lines so that you can help keep track with your eyes. Are you ready to read? Look up in the sky. What do you see? Depending on when the sun, moon, or stars shine brightly. As the sun rises, it appears just above the horizon, beginning to shine its light for everyone. As the sun sets and the day comes to a close, it appears to sink below the horizon. Behind the hill it glows. Nighttime arrives, and the moon is up in the sky, seeming to be on top of buildings and treetops. It is very, very high. Appearing beside the moon in the sky at night, we can see stars twinkling and glowing, shining their light. I like that poem. It is full of wonderful adjectives, words that help me paint a picture in my mind. I also chose this poem because of those wonderful adjectives. Today's learning target says, I can revise my poem for adjectives. Adjectives are those describing words that help us paint a picture in our mind. Today, we're going to be adding adjectives into a poem for practice. Then we'll be adding adjectives into your poem, reaching our learning target. So let's look at that practice poem. Here's the poem that we started to revise or edit during our last lesson together, What the Moon Sees. Now, we revised the conventions of this poem, all of those rules for writing. Today, we're going to go through this poem and add some adjectives in there to make it even better. Now, we don't need this checklist anymore, so let's get rid of that. Now, I do have a checklist that I thought about putting on the screen that showed you adjectives, but instead, I want you to use your noggin today. And I want to hear the adjectives that you have in mind. I will model how to add adjectives in to the first line. Then it'll be your turn. First, let's read the poem together without adjectives. It is evening. The moon is out. The moon sees us eating. It is midnight. The round moon is in the sky. The moon sees a raccoon. It is twilight. The moon sinks. The moon sees children sleeping. The moon sets and day begins. Okay, let's go back to that first line. It is evening. The moon is out. Well, what kind of moon? I need some description here. So I'm going to close my eyes and think about what does the moon look like in the evening? What does the moon look like? Ooh, I have an idea. What about bright? That's a describing word. Or shining. Or Round. Well, round is used down here as an adjective, so I don't want to use that one. Let's see. Let's try bright. The bright moon is out. Show me a thumbs up. Does that sound right? Okay, let's add it in. The bright moon is out. Now, I'm going to add our adjectives in red to help us keep track. It is evening. The bright moon is out. If you close your eyes, can you see that bright moon? Yeah, that adjective helps you, doesn't it? Let's keep going. The moon sees us eating. It is midnight. The round moon is in the sky. Now, round is the adjective here describing the moon, the round moon. But we could add some more adjectives here, couldn't we? Let's see. It is midnight. The round moon is in the sky. Well, what kind of sky? The dark sky, the quiet sky, the big sky. What adjective would you add to this noun, sky? What would you add? Good. I'm going to add the word quiet, the quiet sky. Let's reread it to make sure it makes sense. The round moon is in the quiet sky. I think that sounds great. Let's keep going. The moon sees a raccoon. The moon sees a raccoon. Now, we have two nouns in this sentence, moon and raccoon. So we could add an adjective to our moon, or we could add an adjective to our raccoon. Which one should we add an adjective to? Okay, so let's see. What could we add? I'll give you some thinking time, and I'll take some thinking time too. What could I add here? I have an idea. You share yours first. Oh, that's a good one. Let's see. The moon sees a small raccoon. Yeah, small raccoon. Now can you see the moon looking down and seeing a little tiny baby raccoon? Yeah, that's a great adjective. It really helps me paint that picture in my mind. Now, we're only about halfway through our poem, and we have already added 3 adjectives or describing words. Let's see, I want you to do the next line. It is twilight. The moon sinks. Well, what kind of moon is it? Think about a describing word that you could add to this line. Okay, what word would you add? Good. Now I want you to reread this line, but place your adjective in the line. For example, when I picked small, I had to reread it and say the moon sees a small raccoon. Reread your line with your new adjective. Good. Good revision. Okay, let's keep going. The moon sees children sleeping. The moon sees children sleeping. What adjective could we add here to make it more interesting? What do you think? Okay, let's read that line with your new adjective. Good. Good job. You are having some good practice adding in those high quality adjectives. Now, I wonder, do you think that you could take your poem draft, reread your poem, and then add in some really good adjectives? Okay, so your independent work says you will use the details checklist to help you revise your poem. This is the details checklist. There are 2 things on the checklist. Descriptions make sense and create a picture in your reader's mind. And adjectives are used correctly in each verse. So that's just what we did on our previous poem that we just looked at together. We read it, we added adjectives, and then we reread our new lines to make sure that they made sense and that they painted a picture, right? Like we added the quiet sky, and I reread that whole line to make sure it made sense and painted a picture. Go ahead and get out your sun poem. I'll get out mine too. Mine is written in the notes section of my EL workbook. Okay, I have my poem. Now, first, reread your poem to yourself. Then, go through every single line and think, what adjectives could I add? Then, you will either take your eraser and make those revisions, adding in your adjectives, or you can rewrite each line on a new piece of paper, adding in your adjectives. Remember, revision is tricky and hard work, so if you need an adult to help you, that's okay. But like always, try to get started independently. Okay, writers, poets, should I say? Go ahead and start reading that poem. Then add in your adjectives before you check that work and reread it. Once you've done this and added your adjectives, you'll be able to check off today's learning target. Today's learning target said, I can revise my poem for adjectives. And that's just what you're doing. You're taking your poem and you're adding adjectives. All right, poets, I cannot wait to see your new poems. I will go ahead and leave us on the slides that you can see your independent work. I will see you next time, poets. Have fun with your adjectives. Bye.